Welcome to Pink Radio with Prestige. This is the place for you, the diva boss entrepreneur who needs quick tips on building your crave-worthy brand. This is your host, Nicole Doss, CEO of the Prestige Society, a membership organization for women entrepreneurs who believe in building powerful networks while slanging in their industries. So I want you to go ahead and grab your favorite cup of coffee and get your favorite tips right here with Prestige. Hey everyone, it's your girl Nicole Doss, and welcome back to another episode of Pink Radio with Prestige. Today we're going to talk about social media, how it's a two-sided coin, if I could only say the words that I'm trying to say, and how as business owners do we appropriately use this as a tool to help move our tribe or our market base forward, opposed to using it as a manipulative tool. And I think that that's something that I've never thought about before. I've never thought about social media as a form of manipulation. And so I think that some of my recent experiences, the latest Netflix documentary that I watched, Social Dilemma, really has opened my eyes to have just a different perspective. And as we know, with anything that we go through in life, we definitely have this ever-evolving perception of what we think we're going through, why we're experiencing it, and so on. But so where I am today, I'm sure there'll be growth, and there may be some other thoughts coming out of it. But for right now, I thought this was definitely something worth talking about. So before we jump into this episode, I do want to share some cool updates. So the number one update is I want you guys to definitely follow me on Instagram so I can stay connected with you guys, and that is at the official Nicole Doss. And also, if you want to join the Facebook group, please feel free to head over to Facebook and join our group. It is called Pink Radio with Prestige Podcast Discussion Group. This is a place where we have we drop episodes on Monday. We then do talk about it Tuesdays, where I do a lunch and chat with you guys. Wednesdays was all about women who crush it, and I wanted you guys to be able to really share information on what you're doing with your businesses. But I think I'm going to move that to Thursday, and I'm going to make Wednesdays Ask Me Anything Wednesdays. This is where if you have questions about some of the topics that I cover, this is your opportunity to send us your questions, and we're able to address it on that Wednesday. And then Friday is my Faves Friday, and that's where I share a favorite podcast episode or a favorite documentary that I've watched, and I invite you all to watch, listen, so that you also can add it to your list of faves as well. So with that, we're super excited to have that new Facebook group. So let's just jump right into it. So this all probably stemmed around my recent experience with being hacked. And of course, guys, I have an update, and it's even more disheartening than when it first happened. But then not only did I, kind of get inspired to want to do this episode because of that, but also because of this really new, cool Netflix documentary called The Social Media Dilemma. So here's the update on what happened with the Prestige Society HQ Instagram page. Now, first of all, let's be clear. I was not a mega influencer. I did not have 141,000 followers. I literally had 9,833. So in the world of influencers, I was small potatoes. Matter of fact, because I didn't even hit the 10,000 mark, sometimes I didn't even get opportunities to have partnerships with different businesses because of the fact that my numbers were not at the minimum of what's considered for influencers, which is 10K. So I wasn't anyone that I assumed was on the radar of a hacker, but I am realizing that that they really don't care, and Social Dilemma explains why. But anyway, so what I've grown to understand is that hackers are patient. They're probably patient because they are hacking so many people at once that it takes time for them to kind of get certain ducks in order before they go to the next step. So everything has a level. Everything has like a strategy to it. So strategy one is breaching your account and sitting on it. So, and shadowing your IP address so that when you are receiving a security email, nothing looks out of the ordinary to you. So the first thing that happened to me, I want to say was October 27th, which was a Thursday. I received an email saying that they have identified that there was a new user and that the user was in the town and the state that I live in. And so nothing seemed out of the ordinary for me, right? That's normal. Okay, fine. So usually they say, if this is you, disregard. If this is not you, please report the account. So it was me. I do go back and forth between browsers. I think I'm kind of over Google Chrome. One of the things I've noticed is that we always say in the Mac world that, Macs don't get viruses. But one of the things that Mac users always used was either a internet browser that was exclusive to only Mac users. So it would be either Safari or Firefox if I go back in the day. But now that we're able to download and also use Chrome, I feel like you're susceptible because not for nothing, literally in the past couple of weeks, every time I would go on to like Fabletics or like well-known websites, they would tell me that just going on to that website, 19 of my other, accounts on particular websites were compromised. And it would be messages like from Chrome where when you use Safari, like none of these issues happen. So that's a sidetrack, but I think that that's something I definitely want to stop using is Google Chrome. But they do things in tiers and so, or in like strategy, like plans. And so strategy one is to overtake your account and sit on it. So because, and to shadow your IP, and shadowing your IP is really important, guys, because if you know that this isn't new, if you know you didn't change back and forth your browser that you're using, so if you didn't go back and forth between a Safari and a Google Chrome, if you didn't really log on to a different device, be mindful and report it anyway, because that could mean that your account was hacked. So that's really important. So that's your stage one. So on the 27th, that's when they identified that. So they didn't do anything at that point in time, right? So they shadowed my IP address, so nothing looked out of the ordinary. I completely disregarded that email, and then they waited. They didn't wait too long, but they waited nonetheless. So then by time Monday hit, which was the 31st, that is when they decided that they were going to then lock me out of my account. And they do this by changing any information that is connected to you. So email address, phone number, anything of that nature. All of that information is now completely changed. So they changed the username. They still kept my profile. And probably for about a week or two, they just kind of sat on it. They didn't post anything. They did not try to add any more people. They just kind of sat there. So it made it feel really weird as to why in the world did they even take my account. And then the craziness started. So last night, as I was just, relaxing, chilling, not doing anything, out of the ordinary, just Netflix and chill, I realized I started getting messages from colleagues that they are starting to put adult explicit content on my stories. They erased everything now that has to do with my account. All of my pictures, all my posts. They even changed the profile picture. They now changed for a second time the actual username. So now it's like Helga.twist. And so I am beyond frustrated because I follow the directions of what you're supposed to do. when this happens, I submitted the form. The form is now so hidden that I watched, I don't know how many videos to find this secret link that's now hidden so I can send the damn email or fill out the form so it can send off to security. When I finally realized that they just haven't sent me anything and I haven't gotten any information back, I found the original security email that they sent me on 8/27 and sent them an email. It's all a waiting game, but this all really ties into the importance of realizing that, after doing this and watching social media, I think it's Social Media Dilemma or Social Dilemma on Netflix, it just made me have a different perspective on social media, period. So let's kind of jump into that and talk about what my feelings are right now regarding social media. So, one, it's a two-sided coin. It's a gift where you have the ability to reach out to people and connect with people and share your message with people. But it's also in a space where it is a dark tool that people use to push an agenda. And unfortunately, when I say dark, I mean even to the very developers at, when you think about Google and you think about Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook, there's very manipulative technology that they use to keep you addicted to whatever it is that their technology is. And in this documentary, they mentioned something that I thought was quite interesting, where they say, there's only two industries that labels their customers as users, and that is the illegal drug industry and the technology industry. And I thought to myself, my God, that is so true. So with that, here's some places where, as I was listening to Social Dilemma or watching it, I began to see these parallels that you're taught as a business owner who focuses on building your business on social media. You're taught this as a best practice. You're taught these things as a norm. When you talk about marketing and you talk about sales, you're really taught these things as a norm. And so what I realized, and I'll go into the things I'm referring to, but what I realized is that if we want to be responsible business owners, then we need to learn how to use these tools that were once created for good, but that are now being used to completely manipulate end users. And so you don't even realize it, but you are so being programmed to push the very agendas that they have as well. So for instance, let's talk about one side where we look at market analysis. Market analysis is very important for business owners because market analysis tells you not just where your market is, but it tells you about the consumer behavior, the consumer psychology of your tribe. And in knowing that information, you understand how to better place your product or your service or your content in front of that person so that they know that whatever problem they're experiencing, your business is the solution that they need, that your business is the best solution for the problem they are experiencing. Trying to grow hair, how do you know to use Hair Affinity versus Main Choice? You have a problem with writing a book. Oh, don't worry. This publishing house works with helping women how to self-publish and will teach you how to do it through a group coaching and writing activities. So better than maybe this group over here. Maybe they have a better payout schedule where all authors get paid equally versus some weird thing based off of just how many books you sell. There's whatever the problem someone's facing, when you're looking at market analysis, your job is to figure out how do you best put your stuff in front of your tribe, in front of your market. We talk about user analysis. The whole point is to figure out how do you get users to, or understand users' speed of adoption to using the tool that you've created. And, what was really interesting for me in this particular case was that one of the talking heads in the documentary had said that when you look at technology as a tool, or you look at anything that was created to be a tool, the way you know if it's manipulative or if it is something that is supposed to be a useful tool is how it is placed in front of you versus forced upon you. And so what they talk about is if you have a bike. In the bike, there's an individual who's going to place a bike in front of you, and if you want to use it, if you have use for it, you will use it. But there's no one dangling a bike around you, or no one saying, hey, ride this bike, and maybe you'll be seen as a better, person within society, or ride this bike, and maybe you'll be seen as someone who has a higher standing in society. And so those are things where they said, the difference between placing a tool in front of someone versus manipulation. And honestly, it's not just social media, right? I mean, I can say that very psychology has been used for luxury brands. If you drive a BMW, you may be seen as having more money or having more of a status than if you're riding a Pinto or, I hate to say it, like a Kia. And we all know that that's not true. I mean, my brother taught me really early on, and his best friend, Mike taught me really early on that you never buy a brand new car that is going to depreciate in value the minute you drive it off the lot. I mean, that was literally a lesson I learned when I was probably in my early 20s. And that was the thing, like never invest in something that depreciates in value the minute you buy it. And I thought that was like, wow, because especially in African American culture, the more that you can seem as if you have money. So if you wear the latest brands, or if you have the best bags, or if you have, the newest car, then that somehow equates to how much money you have in the bank. So, I think that's marketing, right? That's marketing because if you take away even color, racism, right? Color, then socialism is an issue, or classism is an issue, is what I meant to say. So people look at where you are in your class and your status quo in class. So I guess, when you look at it from a marketing, sales, social media, there are two sides of a coin. There's a way that you use it so that you are productive and that you are helping people. And there's also a way that you can use it to be absolutely manipulative. So the goal for today's episode is to give you some key points on how to use all of the tools that you have in front of you as an entrepreneur to sell your business for good. And so let's just jump right into it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to check your motives 110%. So if you are creating a presence on social media, if you are creating a business just because you want to be a millionaire, check your reasons. Right? Because you have to ask yourself, am I doing this to help people, or am I doing this to be a millionaire? I do believe that you can focus on helping people and end up as a millionaire, but I believe that whenever there's a focus, one takes precedence over another, meaning that if you're focused on how you're going to, be a millionaire, then that's the driving force. So how do you get the money? How do you sell? How do you get people to sell? What do you do to make people want to sell? How do you create this emotion? Because let's not front, y'all. These are all conversations that we have when it comes to sales. People, especially if you have a demographic where the majority of your customers are women, we have that conversation of how do we drive emotion to be able to enact women to purchase, because more women purchase based off of emotion. So if that's your goal and that's what you focus on only, then what you're not focusing on is how to help people. So you can help people and make a living, but I would say if you want to move from being manipulative, but you want to be authentic and sincere in being able to build a brand that's trustworthy, focus on how you're helping people. Making sure that, when you are asking for money in trade or in exchange for goods or services or content, that the value is equal to the price. And it's so funny because we always talk about cost versus price versus value. So when looking at that model, the cost of you doing something should always be less than the price, but the value should always be seen as being greater than that price. So think about that. If it takes $2 or 2 cents to make a shirt, a t-shirt, a graphic t-shirt. But people, and you sell this shirt for $19.99, your ROI is already going to be way beyond what the norm should be, right? So that means you're doing really great when it comes to your return on investment, because it only cost you 2 cents to make the shirt. But then if people think this shirt is so awesome that they would actually pay $24.99 for the shirt, then people would be more readily to purchase the shirt because the price is lower than, what they think the value is. So they're going to be more excited, like, oh my gosh, I got to buy the shirt because it's so valuable. And they're going to be so afraid that at some point the price is going to go up because in their minds, it's going to be valuable. If you aren't aware of that equation, what ends up happening is that you don't look at any one of those dynamics. You don't look at price. You don't look at the value. You don't look at the cost. What you look at is, well, this girl over here, she sells her shirts for $50 and people buy the $50 shirts from her. So I'm going to make my shirts $50 too. And if I don't make my shirts $50 as well, I'll make them at least $49.99. Not the move. The second thing I want you guys to think about is creating content that's connected to your business weekly, monthly, and yearly goals. So if you don't know exactly what to push out as far as content goes, then go back to what you set your goals for. Do you have a new, for me, do you have a new planner that you're creating? Then spend some time creating content around the necessity of building a day out, a week out, a month out that is aligned with goals that allow you to have the most productive day, week, year that is necessary for your business to be financially thriving. And build maybe blogs or stories or whatever around that content. And really focus on that. So really connecting that helps people realize that, there is a problem that they're experiencing. And as you're introducing your tool, your content, your service, they're able to say, oh, yes, this is why I need this thing here. So you're not being manipulative, you're actually educating. And I think that, and you have to be honest. So what you can't say is, if you buy this planner, you will make $1 million. Who said? How? You sure about that? But if you can say, you will, if you use the planner and you use it consistently, you will be able to see more and more productivity occur. Because that's true. That's like a whole true sentence if you use a planner, an Excel spreadsheet, or anything else that will allow you to obtain your goals. The lesson is in learning about productivity and then people seeing you as a subject matter expert and then trusting you to say, you know what, I think I want to use her planner because she really put a lot of thought into this. So it looks like she's mapped it out to best fit my needs. All right. The last thing I want you to do is give a healthy balance of providing a brand story designed to inform conscious consumers. And so, don't give all of you away. Giving yourself all away actually leaves you more and more vulnerable to hackers. And that's something I don't think we really took into consideration. We were so concerned with building our brand stories and letting people into our lives and allowing people to connect with us. But you have to figure out what's a healthy balance in that. Your life is a brand. You are a brand. And I'm not saying create a narrative that's false at all. Authenticity is always going to be the driver for me. But I think that you have to be mindful that when you share so much information and as you grow your brand, you're leading yourself or allowing yourself to become more and more vulnerable to those who are out here using technology for things that are not good. So with that, guys, I'm going to give you those 3 tips again. Number 1, check your motives. Are you building or creating this presence to be a millionaire or to help your tribe? And if it's to be a millionaire and you're okay with those, with that whole initiative, and if you're okay, allowing those things to drive you and how you act, I mean, good on you for that, I guess, whatever. But if you're someone that really realizes the importance of caring for your tribe, because that means that you'll have longevity, and being around and creating a market of people who have that culture of authenticity as well, then focus on that authenticity. Secondly, use your business weekly, monthly, and yearly goals to help drive what the content will be for your social media presence. So that way you're in a space where when you're building that brand story, which is our third point, you're teaching and you're allowing people to create really smart, conscious consumer behaviors instead of manipulated ones planted by seeds with things that just aren't authentic. So I hope this helps you in really figuring out how to even just connect with your people. I will say this though, please check out The Social Dilemma. It is definitely eye-opening. I'd love to hear more about what your thoughts are on it. And I think I'm going to actually do a review on it for next week because I think it was really interesting. All right, guys, have a wonderful, awesome, and best of all, blessed day. Bye.